So this stream is meant to give you guys guidance as to how to put out a cast call, how to put out a crew call, how to build your team. When you're first starting out, sometimes you're going to make some mistakes. Sometimes you're going to over-deliver on some certain information and completely miss other information. I'm going to help you guys craft a good casting call, a good crew call. And I have more of this stuff in this book that I'm writing right now. It's the Friendly Filmmaker Checklist, which is in pre-order right now. But this is the bare bones that I'm going to be showing you today that can help you literally save 20 years of experience. I continually put out casting calls and crew calls. I put them in my newsletter, so I read casting calls and crew calls from other people, and I know the do's and don'ts that I'm going to go over with you today are going to be worth gold to you. By the time you're done, you're going to have like this whole template worked out in your head. You're going to probably have some files on your computer ready to fire off for every project going forward, and I really hope that everything that I'm about to show you now is useful to you for literal years of art making to come. So let's dive right in. The first thing that I want to make sure that you know is that you're going to need to buffer in some time for all of this to happen. So you're going to need to set aside some time to actually write all of this out, which is why it's so complicated. I've seen casting calls that are like, hey, anybody want to DP my next project? No other information. Or acting calls that are like, hey, I need a 20-something-year-old that looks like this for this student film I'm working on. No other information. And it's like, that's fine, but when you're trying to put it out into a public space, save yourself and other people some time and present everything in one fell swoop, professionally, quickly, efficiently, and that will help you build your team so much faster, and it will draw the eyes of people that regard you as a professional, because this is the way that it should be done. I say should, of obviously poking conversations. I don't want to be too judgmental, but yeah. Ultimately, these people need to know a very certain few bits of information. Why not deliver that up front and publicly? The first thing I'm going to tell you is your project needs to have an email. So whether or not it's a casting call or a crew call, either way, both of them are going to need contact email. No, Instagram is not your, Instagram DMs, no. No to Facebook DMs. If somebody says DM me for more information, don't do it. Don't even bother. Because they should have a dedicated, set aside email address, either the one they professionally use for their production company or one specially created for their project, in order to make this a focused, one-stop shop contact portal that they're opening with people that might be working with them soon. Don't mix in your personal Facebook profile or your personal Blue Sky account or whatever else. No, email. Everything is all in one place, and it's platform agnostic. So you can post your casting call on all the socials from now until the end of time, and you will have everything coming to one spot instead of having to check multiple social media platforms. Oh, the DMs on this look good. Oh, wait, I forgot to check my LinkedIn profile. I don't know if anybody contacted me there. No, screw that. Email. Okay? That's number one. Big one. I see it so much. It's frustrating. Anyway. Okay, now the next one that you also have to do for both, timeline. Actually, I'm going to start at the beginning. Talk about your project first. A very quick introduction is best, okay? We do not need to have the life story of how you were on a hiking trip one time and you came up with this imaginary idea and then it escalated into this Nobody needs that. It's nice, and you can get into that in the table reads, and once you form relationships and friendships with these people, that's fine, but don't waste their time up front having to filter through that irrelevant data to get to the meat of the professional establishing of a relationship. They don't need to know the life story of this story. Just quick bits. What are those quick bits? I'm so glad you asked. First, project name. If you don't have a name for your project, just say currently untitled or give the working title. That's fine. But What type of project is it? Is it a short or is it a feature? What is the log line? Given the fact that you have to convey some information about the mood of the piece, about the vibe of the piece, and give a hint as to how complex the workload is. So a DP might need to know if they need a multi-camera setup, or like if it's complex or sci-fi, or if somebody needs to be doing VFX or whatever, they might want to know, is it a heavy VFX or is it just an indie thing that has maybe 2 or 3 effects shots? What are they getting into? Actors, especially actors, need to know the vibe of the piece so they can know whether or not they match to your job. If it's a drama and these actors prefer comedies, prefer other things, they may skip over that and save you both some time in saying, okay, that's not for me. What type of short? So, type, vibe. And a log line really sells this pretty well. So give the description of who. In a log line you contain the story, the protagonist, and the journey, all in one log line. That doesn't give everything away, but it also gets the wheels greased as to conveying the type and the vibe. So I would have a separate line item for this that literally says, like an example of this could be comedy or comedy horror. A comedy horror feature coming in 2026. Like, you want that information conveyed, right? Just as a vibe. Or drama. You know. Basically the themes. That's basically what it is. And it conveys the type or the vibe. You can even call it whatever the heck you want to call it, just as long as it's in your description. Theme. Okay? So, I'm going to take the examples off. Actually, I'm going to keep on going. So, in the log line, like I said. Log line. So, for example, I just screened Fortune Teller for probably the last time, and I'm going to be publicizing that soon on a sister YouTube channel that I'm going to be creating. It's going to be Friendly Filmmaker Productions. Literally one-stop shop for all the things that Friendly Filmmaker has made and is willing to make public. So features, sorry, no features yet, but shorts that go back like a decade that I've had maybe housed behind a password on Vimeo and some YouTube shorts and stuff. I can't tell you how many times I've been asked the question of, hey, where can I see that? And I'm like, on my YouTube channel. But now I have a more direct place to put it because it's buried. Currently, whatever I have on my channel is so buried underneath layers and layers of new videos that I keep putting out that anybody who wants to watch Plasties would literally have to either Google the title in order to find it, or like, which, good luck spelling that, or, because you can't really skim through my page and find it. It's so far history. So, oh, thank you so much, Fortune Teller. Thank you, Tundra Portal. I appreciate it. I'm so glad you were at the festival when it screened one last time. You got to see the honorary send-off at the Lois Weber Film Festival, which was fantastic, by the way, and we won production design. Hang on a sec. Since I'm talking about it, I'll show you guys the trophy. Not everybody has seen it, so yeah, I've totally got my board up against my trophy wall. So here you go. This is the trophy. Lois Weber Film Festival 2025 production design winner. I'm very proud. It was a team effort. It was a small team, but it was definitely a team. Shout out to my sister, who's like halfway responsible for all the tchotchkes and the placement and everything else. So, yeah, and thank you to the Lois Weber film judges, because thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt with a nice acceptance speech, but since it came up. So, why am I talking about Fortune Teller? Because, dropped it. The log line for that one is literally one sentence long, and Tundra Portal can tell you, having seen it multiple times as well as Trevor, anybody who's seen it can tell you that it's pretty multi-layered, pretty complex for a short 10-minute short. You get a lot of bang for your buck. But the way I sell it is Claire goes into, Claire on a whim I don't have it memorized, so I'm sorry. But Claire, on a whim, decides to get her fortune told, and unexpectedly finds that the fortune teller is not a charlatan. So what happens there? It builds a little bit of intrigue, but it also establishes that it's two people in one room in a situation, and it's got some complexities and things to peel apart and mystery to solve and to figure out. So that's the log line. I mean, when I edit this video later, I'll put it up and I'll do maybe like a little read afterwards, but I apologize that I don't have it memorized word for word. But that's basically what you want to do when you post your log line. Boom! Don't waste people time. One sentence, two max, okay? That's it. That's all people really care about. You have to remember who you're writing for. Are these friends that know you? No. So they don't need to read the backstory of how you created it, or the fact that I wrote it for Petra Dennison, who's in it, or the fact that it started out as a short and then it blossomed into like a full short. Like I tried to write 1 page, it turned into 6. It's like, nobody needs that. So keep it short, keep it simple, keep it dry, and keep it to the point. This is the point. That's it. Because it ties in with the theme. Okay. Now, on top of that, for both cast and crew, you're going to need contact email, project name, short feature. Oh! Now it starts to get divided. You're talking about cast and you're talking about crew. Now you have to split it off when you're doing cast and crew calls separately. This is the data, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space because I'm sure I'm forgetting something. I'll plug it back in when I remember. But I'm going to use red for cast, and I'm going to use blue for crew. Yeah, I'm so fancy. And again, this is all written out very nicely in my checklist, which, again, in pre-orders. Let me actually pull up my checklist so that I make sure that I'm not forgetting. Budget. Okay, see? Told you. For both of these people, I apologize, I'm a little bit bouncy back and forth. Again, live stream. But for both of these people, you're going to need to talk about the budget. Not about what you're paying them, but talk about the budget of your project. And I'll put a little asterisk on there because it's not super necessary. But if you say that it's a micro budget agreement, people understand that it's going to be underneath $20,000 or whatever the current micro budget scale is. And it will set expectations as to what they can afford to pay you and how flexible your negotiating will be. Budget of the film. And then also, and again, if you don't include this, that's okay. That's why it has an asterisk in there. It's not critical. This is not mission critical information, but it's nice to have. So the budget, oh, here we go. Locations, thank you. See, brain is coming up with information now. You need to talk about the location of where you will be filming, the dates that you are looking at. Let's talk a little bit more about dates because there are two things for you to remember. Number one is that TBD is fine, but please give people a range. Because sometimes I get casting calls that are like TBD sometime in the summer. And I'm like, okay, that at least narrows it down to a 3-month window, right? But a TBD of in the summer also leaves it wide open to other people. Like, it's confusing because there are people that have things booked out a year in advance. There are people that have commitments also kind of fluid in the summer. And that's why we have something called will call. I won't get into it here, but basically in the professional sphere, people have a will call agreement, like if it's locked in, tell me now, or if I have a freedom to accept other offers, tell me that also. And they have this communication of like will call to really firm up, like, are you serious, or is this tentative and still in its swaddling clothes in the production phase? I need to know, because if not, I will take this more serious thing that's paying better and all of this stuff. So they need to know that. So I won't put will call here, but if it's a TBD, please give a range. And most importantly, this is a big one. I want to know when will know. if I read a casting call that says, hey, it's TBD but in the summer, but I will let you know in 2 weeks, or it will be firmed up within the month, or it will be firmed up by this day, thank you. Because at least I can accept the temporary not knowing if I know that there will be knowing later. Does that make perfect sense? Like, I want to know if somebody's thinking about when they're going to let me know. Because, of course, as soon as possible also means nothing. It can be as soon as possible for you. It can be a month from now. It could be 3 weeks from now. It could be a year from now. Like, let me know when you know and when you plan to know. That's what professionals do, because they respect the fact that all of these people, all of this cast, all of this crew has to be assembled, and then you could book dates together collaboratively. That happens all the time in the indie sphere. But please give a date as to, please give a date as to when that TBD will be resolved. That's what we need also. So if you have a TBD, that's fine. But if you already know your dates, then please put them down. And the other thing that I'll put is firm days, hours on set, and if there's locations, that's also helpful to know. So for example, if you're making a feature and half of it will be filmed in New Bedford and the other half is going to be filmed in Worcester, I want you to list that out. And as much as possible, you want to give these people information so that they know and so that they take you seriously. Especially when you're first starting out, you're going to flub, you're going to not know, you're going to be like, I have the answers, you just feel free to ask me. But if you publish it ahead of time, it shows forethought, it shows preparation, and it shows respect to the quality of professional that you want to attract. For those 3 reasons alone, you really should be thinking of it as you write your cast and crew calls. So if it's a location range where you really need just 1 day on a green screen set that's going to be in Boston versus the rest of it has to be filmed outdoors in the White Mountains, specify that. And then try to specify which day you've got locked in for whatever. And it could be TBD, but still. I want you to get granular and I want you to be very specific. But don't write paragraphs, literally just say dates, either the TBD option or dates from May 15th to May 20th in Worcester, from May 21st to May 30th in New Bedford. That specific. And that's it. That's it. Don't overdo it. No stress, but think it through. That's all I'm saying. So I'm advocating for preparation. Even in the pre-production phase, just putting out this casting call, just writing it, takes time. So give yourself some time to write these out. Like what you think maybe takes a minute on the toilet should take you a week of planning so that you can really deliver as much information as you possibly can to attract the right people. Okay. Obviously the dates and the locations. And then for both of these people, you're going to want to talk about union status, depending on the budget of your film, SAG. SAG is always trying to work with people, so for the cast people, and IATSE as well. So you want to specify whether or not you have an agreement with SAG and IATSE, or whether you're going just completely indie road here. But SAG, with the asterisk that SAG does have an easier path to do micro budget arrangements. So I mean that's a one form situation that takes maybe 20 minutes to fill out. Yes, I know 20 minutes is a long time for one form, but still it is much easier than the paperwork that used to have to, oh my god, it was a mess. It was a holy mess 25 years ago. Ugh, I'm so glad they're, better. Good for you. You don't even have to experience the pain. I'm so happy for you. Okay, so union status for both. Cast, I'm going to highlight this as SAG and IATSE. I actually just talked to some friends of mine that joined IATSE for makeup and for directing photography and other subgroups. IATSE is a little bit more complicated than SAG. SAG is just SAG. SAG is, everybody knows that this is the one union. But this has multiple branches. I just thought you'd find that interesting. So can you see on the bottom? Okay, I'm almost running out of real estate. That's good to know. So that is basically it. let's talk about the specifics that cast and crew need to know, okay? So here, take a screenshot. I'll just do one of these. Okay, we're good? All right, good. I'm going to erase. I almost said delete. Tell me you use computers without telling me you use computers. I'm going to erase this, and then I will get into the cast and crew specifics. That's it. All right. Oh, for heaven's sake, come on. I'm trying not to push too hard because it'll knock it all the way down. This is the stuff that happens on a live stream, everybody. All right. Ugh, I picked the marker that doesn't want to go anywhere. Oh, that's lovely. I'm glad I'm writing in red next. Red seems to be moving itself very easily. Oh. Ew, bleh. I'll figure out the microphone issue next time, I promise. All right. We're good. Next, cast. Cast needs to understand a different set of information than crew. Duh. Cast is interested in attracting actors. You need to talk about what are you looking for specifically. So, of course, you're going to talk about the character. You got to answer the questions: who, what, and how. Who this person is more like, maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'll take off the how. No, that's true. How. Who this is. So their name. Age. And race. Specify all of it. Don't be shy, okay? Everybody looks what they look like. You have a script that should, hopefully, define who looks like what, who is doing what, and everything else. Tundra Portal says, great to know when I made Waking Up and Hope Rider, I had the locations set so it was easier to pick the dates in a way. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Thank you. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. We'll use this information for the next feature. The next short. I'm excited for that. Yeah, it's useful, right? All of these blocks in pre-production are happening all at once, and sometimes it's kind of hard to pull in the right information at the right time to make it most comfortable for everybody else. But that's the juggling act that all producers have to negotiate, right? So yeah, that's great. Yeah, so who, the name, don't be shy. The name of the person, the age of the person, the age range, and the race of the person. Be descriptive. Now, what, as in what do they look like? If in your script it has specified that this person has a lot of tattoos, it would be helpful not to go to the makeup department every single time. So you can say, this is a person that looks a certain way, has certain features, has blue hair. If you're asking an actor to dye their hair purple for the duration of that 2-week feature shoot, let them know. This is where you would do that. So what... and I'll just put special looks. If they are an athlete, if they are a bodybuilder, if they are a swimmer, if they are a little chubby, if they are, all these things. I want you to talk about the specifics of what they look like as best you can. You can even say something more informative as to the vibe of the piece. For example, if I were talking about somebody who was frumpy, I wanted to have a frumpy character, like in my last film that we all live streamed together. That person was frumpy, hair jacked up. Just let this actor know as much as you can about what you know they're going to be doing. And then how, I should actually just eliminate this because you know what? What else? What are they going to do? So special looks and special talents and special requests. So I'm just going to delete that bottom part. Yeah, basically you're trying to feed the actor as much possible information as you can. If this person speaks Spanish, you want to make sure that you have a Spanish-speaking actor recruited for their role. If they have scenes where they will be doing martial arts, sword fighting, horseback riding, something of that nature, please put that into your casting call. And then special requests, something more sensitive. If there are many intimacy scenes, or if there is a topless scene, or if there is any sort of potentially uncomfortable nature to your project, I need you to put that down too. So the special talents of what you're looking for in terms of like what you need them to be able to do, and then the special requests of what you're asking them to do. So please keep all of these three in mind when you're putting your casting call together. And again, this is all like one sentence. It should not be more than a paragraph. All of this should not be more than a paragraph. You don't have to get into that person's backstory. Some casting agents really like to deliver that to their clients, so I will put that on with an asterisk, because a lot of the casting calls that I see don't have it and don't need it. Is this text big enough for you guys to see, or should I write bigger? You let me know. Some people watching on their phone might not be able to suss this out, but yeah, let me know. So yeah, the backstory of the character sometimes is very informative to some actors and non-essential to other actors. But if you're talking about somebody who's had, like say you're doing a drama about recovery, and say you need that person to have the lived experience of somebody who's been addicted to something and needs to go on a journey in the course of your film to a better place. You need to specify that range. You can give the backstory like a two-sentence monologue, a two-sentence focal point, so that they know what to prepare and they know more about the vibe of your piece. If, however, this backstory is covered in the log line, don't repeat yourself. So that's why I put an asterisk on there, because a lot of the time, if you're casting for protagonist roles or somebody, that's unnecessary to repeat yourself. So I'll put that on there. What else? Oh, this is important. Day rate. And of course, if it's paid or unpaid. Talk about travel. Some people like to hear about food to make sure, because there are like lots of nightmare stories where they show up to set and the director's like, oh, I didn't think of crafty. It happens. Just make sure you mention it if it's in there. Travel, food. Travel, food, lodging. Those are the standard compensation packages offered, especially for the beginners out there. You may not be able to offer this plus a day rate, but be upfront. Please tell them that this is an unpaid project with IMDb credits and film credits and a copy of the film. So I'm going to talk about this. To pay or not to pay. Wait. IMDb. Sorry guys. DB creds. Copy of footage film. Okay. Talk about this stuff, because you want people, again, to be walking in with their eyes open. I don't want somebody to get 15,000 DMs wasting their time that are saying, oh, hey, what does it pay? Oh, peace, bye. So you on the receiving end want to filter out for whether or not for your budget. You want to filter people out by being upfront about it and publicize that data. I don't understand when I reply to a post and say, hey, is this paid or unpaid? People are very cagey about it. Oh, it's unpaid, but hey, you get this and you get a lot of exposure. Well, my landlord doesn't take exposure as a form of payment for my rent. So, it depends, right? You have to know. And don't be cagey about it, just be upfront about it. In fact, like if it's an unpaid project, first off, put that on the very top. And if you feel comfortable, you can even put a little asterisk. Please don't dump hate into the comments section, because I'm just at a different phase right now. And I remember putting out listing calls for my first few films where it was literally just shoestring budget and it was living on a dream. And if you're living on a dream, just say so. But please put it up front, because people filter for that first and foremost. Some people are career actors who do this for a living and they love what they do and they want to keep doing it and they want to keep working, but they can't afford childcare for free, they don't have rent for free, they don't have food for free. This is what they do for a living, and you have to be able to pay those people in order to recruit them. But be upfront about the fact that this is an unpaid project. If it's unpaid, just say so. It's no big deal. Nobody's going to hate on you for that. In fact, people will value your honesty more, okay? And remember you when you post stuff in the future. I promise. It makes a difference. So, that's my spiel on paid versus unpaid. You're welcome. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. But okay, so yeah, so definitely specify travel, food, lodging, whatever you can afford to pay in your budget, please do that. But the day rates. Now let's talk about day rates. I want to introduce you to a very good friend of mine, which is research. Some people are like, I don't know how much XYZ costs. So Google, go Google that, and then maybe ChatGPT has answers. Lots of search engines out there. DuckDuckGo, you know, any one of them can answer that question in under 1 minute. I want you to do your research when you're posting these things as to what a comparable day rate is, and then balance that information with what you can afford, okay? So for example, if you're doing, right now is $20.25 as I record, and a decent, a very generous day rate for an actor for a role is $300. Currently in the SAG contracts, the minimum wage rate for an actor for a day, for assuming a 12-hour shoot, which by the way, please do specify the length of hours of your shoot if you know in advance. That's very helpful. I'm just going to put a little number of hours per shooting day. Sorry, I just thought of that. That's why it's in purple. Okay. Once you have the information of, you know, this is what a good day rate looks like, this is what the SAG minimum is, now you crack open your budget binder and you're like, okay, I squirreled away XYZ number for a 3-day shoot. It took me months of savings to do it, and I know that I don't have the time or resources to go out there and fundraise. This is what the budget that we're locked into because I can't afford anymore. That's it. So how much can I divvy up so that it strikes the balance between the very minimum, maybe I can definitely meeting the minimum, or maybe being more generous, like an 150 day rate. Again, 20-25 prices. Okay. So, or a 175 day rate, or 200 day rate. Remember, people, childcare and gas is expensive, so, you know, if you can, do more, right? Yeah, so just do your research. Make sure that you're not the person asking, oh, I don't know how much this costs. You Google it! Look it up! Do your research! Okay, hope that helps. Perfect. Thank you, Tundra Poro, for confirming. Looks okay. Thank you. That's good. I'm going to try to keep my handwriting neat as I continue. That's basically what this all means. So, like, for example, like if they have tattoos or whatever, yeah, you get the vibe. I'm not going to repeat myself. Okay, now I'm going to talk about crew. Let's screenshot. Moving on. Okay. So what's everybody up to lately, huh? Enjoying this? So I've done the cast. Now I'm going to move on to crew. Make sure you remember to put your hours per day. I'll plug that back in. Yeah, I don't need to leave it up for the crew. I'll try to put as much as I can in the show notes, but again, if you really want to have this underhand forever, maybe pre-order my book, because all of this is in there. So, and for a good reason, because I would never remember. You see how hard it is to remember all this stuff? That's why having a checklist is kind of a good idea. All right, moving on. Crew. Plus, I'll autograph it. There's an autograph option. Anyway, all right, moving on. Crew. Same things with crew. They need to know more or less. God, crew is different because you've got multiple different jobs, so that's a little difficult. If you know you're looking for a production designer, just be job specific. So you have to be more job specific than with your acting roles. as much as that seems confusing, because you're like, but I had to cast for 50 extras and now I have to do this. It gets granular. So, know your job. Alright. You want to be as job specific as possible, because a crafty person doesn't need to answer to union or non-union, for example. Like, they actually have a third side of business where they can be like, okay, we run craft services professionally for all sorts of events, and you're working with them specifically, so if you're looking for crafty, they don't need to know, you know, how is this going and all that jazz. So, just to keep that in mind. My laptop is about to die. Hold that thought for 1 second while I plug it in. I didn't think it'd need to plug in, but here we are. Come on. Cable Nest, why are you being a jerk right now? Ooh. Seriously? Come on. Come on. I don't want to unplug anything, but I'm about to yank. Okay. Here we go. Here we are, and that's, hey, that worked. Sorry about the blip, guys. Can you see me okay? Brr. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Moving on with crew. I hope that worked. Okay. Oh, God. If I lost the stream just because I plugged my laptop in, I'm going to be sore at OBS. Okay. Job specific. You want to be specifying. So, who is this person? So, first off, are they team or solo? Okay, good. Thank you so much, Tundra Portal. So first off, I want to cover is this person going to be working on a team, leading a team, or working solo? Tell them about the crew that they're going to be joining. For example, I can't tell you how many times we need PAs. They don't specify how many they need. They don't specify if they're going to be working for somebody else or if it's like 3 PAs on a backyard set for an informal thing. It's really crazy to me how little information some PA calls have. So let them know, are they working on a team or are they going to be flying solo? And if they are working on a team, are they leading the team? Because that's a different kind of pay structure that you may want to consider, and team dynamic that you may want to consider. Now, so first off, day rate. Yes, you still want to do your research, like we talked about before, about how much salary is commanded on the higher end in the industry and for independent films, and localized to your area. Again, Google will help you out. Like, well, I mean, ChatGPT or whatever search engine you prefer, your choice. YouTube even. And again, make it time specific. Like, you don't want to watch a 4-year-old YouTube video because inflation has gone up a lot since then. So those prices are irrelevant. So you want to make sure your research stays relevant. How much is your day rate? Same as last time. Get those numbers, open up your budget binder, and be like, okay, what can I afford? Where's my hard stop? And then publish that data, please, in the name of whoever. And again, same rules apply. If it's unpaid, say so. I am not throwing shade at anybody when I say this. I just want to promote. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you so much, Tundra Portal. We'll have to jump off the stream. We'll watch the remainder afterwards. Thank you so much. And can't wait for the book release. Appreciate you. Okay. Again, if it's unpaid, just say so. And I am not throwing shade at the people that are trying to recruit free labor. Hey, I'll swap you, I'll work on your set if you work on my set. Happens a lot here, and we welcome it. That's fine. But be honest, be upfront, don't be cagey, and don't be like, DM me for details. No. Just be open about it, for heaven's sake. so that you get the right people. People who understand that, hey, you're in a position, you're a college student, you just graduated your stuff, you have zero money, you're trying to put this team together, it's going to be maybe 6 people in a group working multiple jobs. I am so there, I've been there, I want to help, right? So you want to attract the right kind of person. And versus like if it's a paid job, hey, I need a director of photography who can work this thing. Know your day rates, please. Know that what the indie sphere commands, and know what the minimum salary for somebody who's won an Emmy could command. So just be prepared with those numbers and then post them. There's no shade. Anybody who judges is not doing it right. You don't want them on your set anyway. Okay, day rate. So, and then the responsibilities. I'll finish this. So I'll write it all over again. Responsibilities. Yay. Tell them what they're going to be doing. If this is a director of photography, tell them that they're going to be needing to have a 2-camera setup, or if you have a budget, make it specific to your thing. Tell them up front. If you have a budget set for renting things, let them know so that people aren't restricted by the gear they already own. Some professionals have fully kitted vans that have $25,000 of materials in there, and 2 Ursa minis, or a set of aperture lenses, or whatever the heck is going on, right? Some people are more like on the indie sphere, you find a lot of combos. So for example, like I DP'd and I gaffed on the last project that I did, and I did both of those things, and yes, you usually have that, but I did it as a solo operator with occasional help from the PAs and the crew that was listed on the thing, but I didn't come with a specific team. Does that make sense? So I didn't say, hey, I am your DP, I also need these 3 people on my set. I didn't have that. So to let people know that you're just looking for this thing, or what they'll be responsible for, whether or not you have a rental budget or they're on their own vis-a-vis gear. And again, make it job specific. That's why it gets a little hairy, but you have to think these things through. You have to know, hey, I don't need to put this information too much when I say looking for a crafty person or looking for a PA. But and I'll get into this in a second. But there is one thing that you want to list for all of the jobs, which is what does that mean? Self-reporting. A lot of people who are just graduating and stuff still are attached to the buses, the routes, and a little bit of the hand-holding that they had from their film school experience. It's a nice to have, but you gotta let it go. If you're just starting out and you're looking at these things, assume that the default is self-reporting. I can't tell you how many college kids I had that said, okay, what bus do I take there to get here? Alright, next time, I'm putting that in my crew call. You know what I'm saying? I, as a director, as a producer, appreciate that other people are coming from walks of life, but you gotta put your big person adult pants on and say, okay, this is the location, these are the days, I'm gonna do my own personal research as to whether or not this job works for me, because I don't drive. I would need a lift. I would need a specific bus schedule. I would need 3 hours of travel time because the MBTA stinks. I would need XYZ. Self-reporting is a good thing to put in your casting call because it really reminds people that you're looking for professionals who do not ask you things like, what's the current bus schedule? And that'll give you a better clientele as well. And so for all of you people just graduating film school, especially in the local area, you've got a lot of that happening. People are coming into the industry new and new. Please don't ask that question. Self-report, okay? So if you as the director, producer want to put must report to self, that's a good idea. Because I can't tell you how many PAs are like, yeah, I'll be happy to show up on your set and learn what I can learn, but how do I get there? Okay. You know? And on a smaller indie project, once you've attached yourself to the project of like, okay, I am capable and I know that I will figure it out, and then you form those relationships, then you can go ahead and ask and be like, okay, does anybody happen to be carpooling from XYZ, or am I on my own? I've got it if I'm on my own, but does anybody happen to be driving up that way and maybe can give me a lift one way or both? Like, that'd be so appreciated, but not at all necessary. I'm a big person. I can get myself to where I need to go. That's a different situation. I'm not throwing shade on people who have done that in like group chats or whatever is happening in the DMs or whatever. So just to put that out there, I really want to make it clear. But in your casting calls and crew calls, cast usually doesn't do this. I get it a lot with like crew. I don't know why. But maybe that's just my experience. Self-report, good thing to put in there. Okay. The next thing is, I really think that this is as far as it goes in terms of the complexity for when you need to make your crew call, because the crew knows their job. So once you post a title like script supervisor, or seeking an assistant director, or seeking a producer, or seeking a costume designer, those titles, those job titles mean things. And so the people reading the job titles, seeing that you have everything else listed out, the budget, the log line, everything we talked about in the purple, that will be enough for them to make a concrete decision as to whether or not they want to talk to you, on top of the day rate and whatever portfolio you want. So at the end of the day, after all of this, you post. Now, cast or crew, you have every right to ask your applicants to give you information. That's why it's good to do it by email. And that's why it's good to systematize it this way so that you know exactly what you're going to ask them. What do you want from them? Oh, I didn't do the screenshot thing. That's okay, you know how it works. Back to the purple, because this applies to both. Okay. Now you have to ask, what they need to send you. You need to publish that up front. To your email address, you want people to say what positions they're applying for. For cast, if you list multiple roles, you want to ask which role could be multiple, but which role they want to apply for, to audition for. I forgot to put auditions in there. Ugh, see, this is why the checklist is so helpful. Okay. Okay. On top of that, which role they want. Then you also have confirm what hopefully you've posted. For the actors, you should have posted this in your casting call as well. Apologize. I will plug that in there later. Confirm the audition dates and format. Put this in here. For actors, if you're holding in-person auditions, then you need to let them know when that's happening, where it's happening, and what callbacks are going to look like. Okay? If you're hosting virtual auditions where you're asking them for a self-tape, you need to let them know the dates, the deadlines, and when they anticipate to hear back from you. Please, I can't hide this. I need to say it. You know what? I'll save it for later, but I will actually put it on the board for now. For you, be nice. Remember that these cast and these crew are people trying to work with you and get a job with you. Especially for cast, I can't tell you how many times the audition tape just goes into the ether. Nothing. They don't get a word back. It's like a person takes the time to memorize those lines, find the emotions, use the materials that they've been given, use the sides that they've been given, use the monologues that they've been given to try to suss out what the mood of the piece is, using their own film equipment sometimes, using their own, you know, backdrops and whatever else they have in their own private studio, using their time, which is never coming back to them, to make you an audition tape, and then, what, you're not going to reply? For real? I remember you. I see you. I see you. Mr. Oh, but I get so many. Tough. Make freaking time to treat people like people. Let them know. Thank you. Not a good fit. Appreciate it. Good luck in your future. Wow, that was so hard. And yet, it sends out into the ether. Do you know how easy an autoresponder is? Every email platform can do it. So if you get some replies, please make sure to let people know, A, that you received it, and B, what your final decision was. Did they make the call back? Did they make the cut? Or is it, thank you, we actually found another opportunity elsewhere. We won't need to set up an interview or anything like that for crew or cast or whatever the heck. Please, treat people like people. I'm leaving this up. Okay. So yes, you want to confirm with them that you want them to tell you that they're okay with this, the auditions of the format, which role they want to audition for, and if you want, this is why I put an asterisk here, boop, 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 resume, headshot, and reel. That actually goes, well, I'll talk about crew in just a sec, but crews have reel as well. Okay. Resume, headshot, and reel. Is this important to you? Maybe if you're just starting out, you don't want to do that. Maybe if you are just starting out, it doesn't matter to you. Maybe if you're just starting out, you just want the headshot and a reel or a resume, and you can say if you have them. Maybe you can say, hey, headshots not necessary for me, especially since I'm looking for a fresh face, starting out. Maybe you don't have headshots yet. A decent photo of you will do. Perfect. Maybe you don't care about the headshot because you want to interview people one-on-one, or have them ask for or have them submit an audition tape, and so the headshot is irrelevant because you're going to see what they actually look like when they're moving and they're emoting, and that's more valuable to you than some photoshopped business, right? Like, you get a better vibe from the actual audition experience. So maybe all of these things are not for you, but if you're starting out and you know that you're like new to the game, maybe you want to make this required so that you only solicit the professionals that have experience, and so you yourself can have a leg up as to getting more information about your applicants. That's a you call. That's why I put that asterisk here, okay? Moving on to cast and crew. And make sure, yeah, they confirm the audition dates and the format, which role they want. Obviously, if they have read the post, confirm as much as you can, because you also want to confirm, actually for both, you want to confirm the shoot dates. If somebody has their summer blocked and they misread your post, make sure they confirm it by email. And if you see that they're missing that information in the email, follow up with them as a first and foremost so that you can filter out as quickly as possible and save you both some time. Hey, I didn't see your confirmation as to whether or not you're available for these shoot dates. Can you confirm that you're actually available for our planned shoot with the rain dates or whatever? Confirm. And then for for crew. So, talk about, ask them to email you with the position they want. So sometimes if you have more than one, ask them to tell you what position they want, and ask them to, for their resume and their and reel. or a summary of their experience. They don't need to write a crafted resume with like multiple. For a lot of people working in the independent film community, you've been wearing multiple hats. Maybe you don't have 17 resumes that represent your specific work in production design, your specific work as a DP, your specific work as a PA. Like maybe you don't have that crafted resume for that specific job ready for you. But if you talk about your experience in your email, in your introductory email, then you could say, all right, this is my general resume, or my best resume is actually on IMDb as to all the credited things that I've got there, and I didn't feel the need to put a resume together. My experience is that pertains to the job, and then the reel is here, or I don't have one yet. So ask for the things that you need from these people based on your comfort zone, your experience, and also what you're looking for. If you know that you're looking for something very targeted, niche, and specific, like for example, you're looking for an editor in post-production that speaks 2 languages so they can translate the bits in your script that are of 2 languages. It's going to be much smoother if you don't have to provide a translation for them, or if the translation provided has a typo in it. This person speaks the language so they know exactly when to time the subtitles for your film. You should specify that. And then make sure to what? Confirm. That's right. The job requirements. And again, when you're putting out your cast call, when you're putting out your crew call, whatever it looks like, after you've listed the information that overlaps for both, make sure to ask them specifically and explicitly for what they should email you with. And that is it. Now you're off to the races. You've put out your cast call, you've put out your crew call, you've put out your one and only contact email, so you can blast it on all your socials, and it will all be funneled into one place for you, where you can review all of this information. And please be kind to these people. Remember, they are human beings who took time to talk to you. Make sure you confirm the receipt of their application and then finalize the decision whether or not it's a yay or nay. Make time for that, okay? It's so lacking in the community, especially in like Hollywood. They get like 500 or whatever. They don't know how to set up an autoresponder. Oh, I'm sorry, no. The actors over there have to hear through their agent, who then heard from, like, I don't know, had to contact somebody to get that information. What a mess. Just be nice, for heaven's sake. It costs 10 extra minutes, Jesus. Okay, that is it. That was a lot. Here, screenshot. Okay. So, with that, I have one more thing to write on here, so please bear with me. I know, live stream, the joys. But I promised to trim this down for a video, so anybody who's doing the rewatch of the thing, the link of the video will be below so that you can kind of shortcut your way through some of this knowledge. And the link to the checklist will also be below for that same reason, so that you can have a physical copy or even a digital. I'm going to do a digital download for the book because some people work better digitally. I'm a pen and paper kind of person when it comes to checklists, but not everybody is, and it's useful to have it, at least in a PDF format, to be like, oh, okay, I just remembered to do that, XYZ. But here's the last thing I want to write. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. Thank you for remembering that these are people that you're going to be working with, for remembering that you're building a team, and the vibe starts with you. So if you are professional, if you show up, if you have had the forethought, if you have had the laid out integrity to put all of that information out there for all to see, no matter what shade might get thrown at you, especially for the free projects, they get so much hate. But if you have done your part, you will attract the people that respect it and see it. So, thank you for all of that. Thank you for, watching. And I really hope you go out there and make some beautiful, beautiful art. I'm going to do my part to make some beautiful, beautiful art. I'm going to be sending out the pre-orders in May. So everybody that's ordered a copy, thank you so much. Everybody that wants a copy, link is below. Prices are going to go up for the early bird. So right now it's in pre-order, then it's going to go up to early bird, and then it'll increase again in May when the book is live. So look out for that. Follow me on on the Blue Skies, and subscribe to the newsletter if you want more information. Visit friendlyfilmmaker.com for updated information about that. I'll be publishing it as I go, and I really appreciate you all for being here. Go out there, make some art, be friendly to each other, and yeah, that's the end of my stream. Hope you liked it. Hope you found value out of this. I enjoyed putting this together. Helps me, and to help you. Alright, so with that, I'm going to find the outro thing. And I appreciate you all so much, and thank you very much. Bye.
Friendly Filmmaker is a Tuba Creations production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Mastodon. And if you like what we do, consider supporting us on Ko-fi with either a one-time donation or a membership. Members get all sorts of great perks. Check out ko-fi.com/friendlyfilmmaker for more. That's ko-fi.com/friendlyfilmmaker. Thanks for watching.